Can you still build a capable gaming PC for under $500 in 2025? It sure doesn't seem like it, especially with the prices of graphics cards. Let's go ahead and see if we can't put something together for under $500 that can still meet the challenge of today's games. Let's do it. As a PC flipper, I've experienced 2025 to be a lot more difficult of a market than 2024 was. Prices have gone up, particularly on graphics cards, but it also feels like buyers just do not want to pay any more to get the same hardware, the same PC that they could have got last year. Even though the $500 build cost range is not my favorite to build in, I have found that there typically are the most buyers, and my PCs usually sell the fastest when I'm in that range where I'm selling for between $600 and $700. So I wanted to see if I could keep going with building a really capable RTX gaming PC for under $500 and get it listed and see how it did in today's market. My original goal for this build was to get the whole thing under $400, and I was really close. The part that gave me the most problems for this build was the motherboard here. This is a Machinist B450 made popular on AliExpress. I think I paid $45 for it about 6 months ago or so, and going into it I knew it had some limited connectivity. So it has limited fan headers, no Wi-Fi, no USB-C, so I knew all that going into it. But I had additional issues that just made this motherboard not work out for me. Number one of the RAM slots just didn't work. It's only reading one, and I can't have that. Gotta have both RAM slots fully functioning. Number two is the PCIe slot for the graphics card is so close to the bottom of the motherboard that the graphics card that I wanted to use, this 2070 Super, the cooler is too thick and pushes down on the USB 3 header that plugs into the motherboard, so that it couldn't work. So then I had to swap out the 2070 Super for the 2080, which I wasn't trying to use, and again that also bumped the parts cost up a little bit more than I wanted. So overall, it was a great experiment, but I really did not care for this motherboard. Issues getting things plugged in, issues with things not working. I'm just going to pass on it, and I'll probably just use it maybe as a test bench or something. I'm not sure, but not a big fan of this Machinist B450 board. So I took the Machinist motherboard out, and that solved all my issues. I got an MSI B550 board put in there instead, and that solved absolutely all my problems. It's got the Wi-Fi. I can use the 2070 Super. All the RAM slots worked, everything, plenty of ARGB connectors and fan connectors and all the things that I needed. This is absolutely a much better motherboard. It cost about $95, so it drove my total cost up $50 to bring it all the way up to about $450. But I think it was well worth it just to get a full feature motherboard with all of the things that I need to make this build be successful. So let me go ahead and just run through the different parts of the build and talk a little bit about it and show you how you can also do a very capable RTX gaming PC for $450 even in 2025. First up, and I think it's the star of the show of this PC flip, and that is the case. This is the Okonos Mirage 4 in white. I paid full freight for this thing, saw it on Amazon for a great price. It was $59.99 with a 10% off coupon. I paid $53.99 for it, and I'm going to be making a separate review video for this case, but to sum it all up, it's absolutely awesome. You get all of the great quality at a good budget cost that you expect from Okonos. I'm a huge fan of this case. It definitely captures the small cube style fish tank case with the best quality that I've seen so far in a case in this price range. Makes it excellent for flipping. Absolutely recommend the Okonos Mirage 4. For the CPU and motherboard, ended up going with an AMD Ryzen 5 5500 and the MSI B550 motherboard. I paid $74 on Amazon brand new for the 5500, and I also bought the motherboard brand new from Newegg for $95.39. AM4 motherboard prices are going up, so just be aware of that. They are harder to find, but ultimately these two worked out really well for this build. Next up, we've got the RAM and the storage. For the RAM, I went for Timetech Pinnacle 16 gigabyte 3200 megahertz CL16 RAM. I got this on Amazon for $24.99. This RAM kit has always worked well for me. And for storage, I've got a Patriot 500 gigabyte M.2 drive that I actually got for free from Newegg when I bought something else. I don't even remember what. So that helped keep the cost down. And I thought a lot about doing 32 gigs of RAM or 16, but ultimately to keep the price down, it is a budget build. I thought 16 gigs would be okay, and it did perform very well. Moving right along, let's go to the graphics card. I wanted to use this Asus 2070 Super. I got this on my local Facebook Marketplace for $120. I was able to negotiate the price down some, as you can see here. I just still can't picture paying much more than this for a 2070 Super, regardless of what people in the market are selling them for. So I got this one for a great deal. Painted it white, as I talked about in a previous video, and I thought it looked really, really good. I did have the issue with the machinist board, but it works great here on this MSI board. Fits perfectly, no issues, and is a great pair on a budget gaming PC, particularly with the Ryzen 5 5500. And last but certainly not least, the power supply and the CPU cooler. Power supply went with my budget favorite, the Apevia Prestige 600 watt. Those are $51.99 on Amazon any day of the week. They're great for budget-minded builds. It's C tier on the tier list from ZTT. I've never had a problem. I've used at least a dozen of these on budget builds, and they work great. For the CPU cooler, I wanted to kind of do something cool, so I went with the Thermalright Assassin 120mm digital. And that has the little digital display you can see here, and once you load the software, it'll measure CPU and GPU temperature and display it. Real easy to change the colors and stuff. Really cool, especially for a budget build. I thought it was a neat feature, and I think it probably helped this build sell faster than maybe it would have. As I said in the beginning, my goal was to shoot to get this thing under $400 build cost. Ultimately, because the machinist board crapped out on me, I wasn't able to achieve that, but I did keep it under $450, and my total build cost was $445.26. Now, I listed this thing up on my local Facebook Marketplace for $640, and you can see here it got a ton of attention. I got a bunch of messages really early on, ended up selling it to a guy for $600 in less than a week. I think it took 6 days from listing it to meeting it and selling. And that gave me a profit of $154.74. So again, not a huge profit, but I didn't get any necessarily spectacular deals on any of this stuff, just solid deals along the way with some new parts sprinkled in there. Actually, most of this build was brand new parts. Really, the only used thing in this build was the graphics card. So $150 profit, not bad for a mostly new PC build. So there you have it. It absolutely is possible to build a $400 to $500 really capable RTX gaming PC even in 2025. This build turned out absolutely great, performed well, and I haven't heard from the guy that I sold it to about a month ago, so I'm going to assume everything is going absolutely great. So the 2025 PC flipping market is definitely not as good as it was last year. But if you price your stuff right, you still can have some success, even though I have sold fewer PCs this year than at the same time last year. Now, let's move on to a hot topic that a lot of people talk about, and that is Prime Day. And I was not very excited for Prime Day this year. I didn't have a lot of money laying around from flips. I've got a lot of my money tied up in parts for other builds and things. But I did manage to grab one item which was on sale for an absolutely killer deal, and that was the Ryzen 5 9600X. I definitely was very, very happy with the final freight on that. I think it was around $150. Normally these go for about $200, so I am going to use this thing maybe for a flip or maybe in a PC build I do for my son coming up. I'm not sure, but $150 for a 9600X. That was my only pickup from Prime Day in July 2025. So one of the big reasons why I didn't have much money at Prime Day was because I just spent a good chunk of the cash I had on hand on a new graphics card for my PC. and I did a short about this about a week or two ago, and here it is. It's a Gigabyte Aero 4090. I saw this pop up in my local marketplace a couple of weeks ago, and it was listed at $2,000 and then went down to $1,700, then back up to $1,900. The price kept changing. It would get marked pending, then not, and I was just kind of watching it, seeing if I could get it for a good deal. And ultimately, after about 3 weeks of being on the market, he listed it down for $1,600. So I reached out to him and asked him if he had any room for a lower offer. He said no, and ultimately I ended up taking it, and I bought it for $1,600 cash. Now, if you look at this exact same model through the months of June and July on eBay, these things are all selling for $2,000 or higher. So getting one that's in really good condition and runs great, I am thrilled to get this 4090 for $1,600. But let me know what you think I should do. Should I keep the 4090, or should I send it right back up for sale on eBay and make a few $100? Let me know. I'm upgrading from this ASRock Taichi 7900 XTX. I've also listed this up on eBay for sale in an auction, so we will see how it does. Give me your thoughts on that as well. What do you think it's going to sell for? I've listed it on the auction for $699, no reserve. We'll see what it does. Again, these are selling for about $1,000 if you look back on eBay for this particular graphics card in recent history. So let me know your thoughts. If I sell it for $1,000, that'll be more than what I paid for it. So that would be absolutely wild to buy a graphics card brand new and then sell it for more used than what I paid for. So there you go. That is what I've had going on recently. I've got some cool videos coming up that I'm planning to do, talking about how PC flipping has gone for me in 2025. Again, I've approached it a little bit differently this year, just based on how the market has been treating me in my local area. I appreciate everybody that's watching. My views and everything are a little bit down right now, so every one of you that is commenting and liking my videos and giving me some of that watch time, seriously, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm definitely working to improve all of my YouTube skills. It's a lot of work, combined with a full-time job and a family. I definitely can't give it all the time that it probably should get, but I do enjoy making the videos. I do enjoy talking about PC flipping and computers. So sincerely, all of you that are engaged in watching my stuff, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.